In 1994, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and one of the first things I did was try to contact as many women as I knew that had breast cancer, and I formed a support group. And we met for a couple of years and found that there really wasn't anything specific for breast cancer in the Rochester community. In year 2000, 3 years later, we were able to open up a small office on Park Avenue, about 250 square feet, 2 little rooms, and that's how we started to grow. And then Holly Anderson became our director, and she knows how to sow seeds very well.
Just in reflecting back on 25 years, I have to focus on our 4 pillars: advocacy, education, support, and research. And from the advocacy perspective, collaboration has been the key to the success that we've had with our advocacy effort. Working with legislators on both sides of the aisle and working with survivor advocates from both sides of the aisle. You really have to identify the common ground, get everybody to the table and figure out what's important. Education, I wasn't quite sure when we started what that was going to look like, but like all things, we begin with a community assessment. What do survivors need? What do they want? We began with evening seminars where we engaged our region's experts in a particular field and brought those experts in to address the questions, things like long-term effects of chemotherapy, long-term effects of radiation, how to reduce the risk for recurrence, lymphedema issues, you name it, and we found the experts and brought them in. Breast Cancer 101 started accidentally. It was phone calls. When I was alone in the office in the beginning, I would get telephone calls from people newly diagnosed, and they didn't know where to go or what to do and were stunned by the complexity of breast cancer. It's not a plain vanilla disease. And so I have a healthcare background, and we began doing better community assessments about what those needs were, and that gave rise to Breast Cancer 101. And later, when we welcomed gynecologic cancer survivors, it gave rise to support groups. And so we decided early on to just do our own breast cancer research initiative that involved the regions that we served at the time, Roswell Park and UB, University of Rochester and Wilmot, certainly, Cornell University, and Upstate Medical in Syracuse. Also in the evening seminars, when these experts would come in and talk to us, they talked about how competitive research funding was, particularly in breast cancer research. Younger researchers, innovative ideas that they couldn't apply for big funding because they didn't have any preliminary data. And it takes money to get that preliminary data. And that's where we decided, let's do $25,000, $50,000 grants that will allow scientists to get preliminary data that would allow them then to go on for bigger funding. And that was absolutely magical. We have, in our 25th year, just surpassed $1 million in funding small seed grants of that amount, $25,000 and $50,000. We have been able to bring survivors and those who support them together. We've been able to bring breast and gynecologic cancer survivors together, Republicans and Democrats together, men with cancer and women with cancer together. And it's always been about collaboration, bringing the scientists and breast cancer survivor advocates together. Big impact over 25 years.
The spirit of the coalition is going to continue and it's going to build, and I'm excited to see where that goes. I think the last 25 years, when you hear the stories and see different things that have happened, it's absolutely amazing. And so the next 25, I'm really excited to see what that holds.